Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? So this is the cool film I get to make. There's like one day in 57 days where I just get to act, and I got to be in character for this really crazy video. So also, it's like really hard to find a space right now where there's like some empty space where I can make this video. And also, I'm trying to make a point. So today, as you guys know, there it is. So as you can see, it says SD, so that's state drive. And what we're talking about in state drive is these quadrants. Now, it might be difficult to see the four quadrants because I've put some letters in some of the quadrants. All right, so now, like for a little bit of context, as you guys know, we're talking about making decisions. And we have a checklist to help us to make decisions. It's called state impact. And there's like different levels, things that we need to consider when we're making decisions. And the first stage is to frame the context of the decision. And then the next step is to think about some scenarios. What are some possible scenarios? Now, of course, actually, a discussion I had today with someone resulted in me realizing, understanding that sometimes you really need to pinpoint the metrics before you can understand some of the scenarios, which was interesting because, as you guys know, for the last 7, 8, 9 days, I've been struggling with this idea of like developing scenarios. How do we develop scenarios? So I went into the state teamwork checklist, and over the last, 7 or 8 days, I guess 5 or 6 days, you've went through all those different, all those different stages of writing out what it looks like to, analyze operational agreements with partners, with potential customers, and with providers. And then after I finished discussing that, then I was like, okay, guys, actually, we also need to talk about state drive. All right, so here's state drive. And the reason why that we want to talk about state drive is because you need to be able to distinguish, like, for example, providers. You need to be able to make a decision about, one of many providers. If you have multiple providers that can provide the same service, then of course you can start to look at like, what is it that they do? What is the work that they do? What are the outcomes that they are reaching for? What are the goals that they want? What are the reuses? How do they plan to develop their company and the business? How do you want to develop this relationship through the business deal and beyond? And then, like, do they have the people? Like, how do they process that work? How do they work with you? What is their levels of service? And now the thing is, you can when I talk about levels of service, of course, I'm talking about the actual functional. What do they actually do? What's the step-by-step process? But then there's this other side of like, how do they do it? What are the attitudes? And that's what state drive is about, okay? So state drive, we're talking about what? So now SD obviously means state drive. Now what about at the bottom? Of course, it's always a funny, LOS, it's like loss. What is a LOS? So LOS, we're talking about level of success. Now, yesterday we talked about high and low, and I told you it would be kind of weird because today we're going to make a little change to that. So on the right-hand side, you have a L. You see the L above the S? So levels of success, there are 2 levels. On the left side, you have the T, and on the right side, you have an L. All right, so the one on the L, it means leading. Now, if you have a leader, that's like a noun. It's a person. He is the leader. But if you're talking about a position, if you're describing the position, a leading position, like a race car is in a leading position, a business is in a leading position, a salesman is in a leading position, it means that they are successful. That's a level of success. They are relatively successful. And then all those other cars are trailing. They are in the back. So, that's like a position, a relative position. When you see a dude that looks like me with his hair sticking out, tired, it's like, the end of the day, it's like 9:30 at night. And the thing is, like, maybe I look like I'm in a trailing position. That, that was my intent. And now, all right, so then look over there on the other side. So you have LOE. What does LOE mean? LOE means levels of effort. All right, so on the left side we have levels of effort, and on the bottom we have levels of success. Now the thing is, when you have levels of effort, all right, so what are the levels of effort? On the top we have a D, and on the bottom we have an L. So the D is diligent. He's extremely diligent. She is extremely diligent. I don't know the other pronouns. I haven't learned them yet. Or they are extremely diligent. We are extremely diligent. What else is there? Me, you. I am extremely diligent. You are. This is from studying Russian, because they changed the verb. But anyways, yeah. So we got diligent, and then we have what? What's the L? Laid back, right? Diligent and laid back. Now you see, if you have a diligent and you have a laid back on the left hand side, and then on the bottom you have a trailing and a leading. So let's see. There's an R. So if the level of effort is laid back, all right. So this is why I'm sitting down today. I'm trying to make it look like I'm laid back, and then the level of success is trailing, all right. So how would you describe a guy whose level of effort is laid back and whose level of success is trailing, right? So I've asked a lot of people this question. Usually they're like, "He's a loser." Okay, so that's the way normal people describe this type of person. A scientist, Dr. Thomas Buchholz, the the author of Create Crucial Insight, in his book, he uses a different word. All right. So what does it look like I'm doing? I'm just sitting here chilling out, playing checkers. Like, what am I doing? I'm not working. I'm not working hard. And my relative success is low. All right. So the word that Dr. Buchholz uses is called recollecting. Now, go back to your Excel spreadsheet, and next to any of the potential providers that are recollecting, the ones who have relatively laid back levels of effort and and who are in a trailing position, go ahead and give them an R for recollecting. Now, I mean, maybe that's what you want, but maybe not. So that's why we're going to go through the other three quadrants tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, and we're going to, have some dialogue about like what is going on. Well, how do you feel about these quadrants? What are some things you can start thinking about? Oh no! But as you can see, having recollecting. Where's the other thing? There we go. As you can see, having like like a relatively recollecting attitude. Oh my goodness! I think we're gonna have a problem. I think it turned upside down. All right, so we're also gonna find out how smart my phone is, because we might be upside down right now. Anyways, that's recollecting. This is Space Between Ideas, and I'm Blaine Gates.